A wintry mix in the forecast, when it ends, and how much snow we could receive in just a few minutes.
Plus, some of the nation's busiest airports begin to cancel flights as the government shutdown continues. The new effort by the Senate to get a deal done. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Breiter. First Warn Weather leads us off this afternoon as parts of southern Wisconsin could see the first snow of the season this weekend. This is several outdoor events are happening. For more on the latest storm track, here's meteorologist Blaze Keller. Hi, Blaze.
Hello, that's right. We're looking at the first chance for some snow as we head into the weekend. It's a busy weekend, a lot going on between the Badgers game, the last outdoor farmers market there at the Capitol, as well as the Madison Marathon. And right on schedule, Mother Nature has potentially our first round of snow. It will start off as a rain-snow mix as we go further into Saturday. We're at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's still that rain-snow mix. We're going to watch to see when temperatures get cool enough that the mix turns completely over to snow. Most of our models are in agreement that that's probably going to happen later in the day on Saturday, continue overnight with that snow wrapping up as we go into Sunday. Sunday we'll still be dealing with some flurries, but we're looking at maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of snow by the time this is all said and done. We'll talk more about the weekend snow totals here in just a few minutes, but we're looking at the mid-50s today, breezy at times, and not snow showers, but rain showers could be popping up as we go into the afternoon. Very isolated. Light to moderate. Not everyone is going to see that chance for rain underneath more cloudy conditions by later this afternoon. As I mentioned, we're talking more about that snow this weekend in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you later in the broadcast. Thank you. Right now, Fitchburg authorities are investigating a fire that killed one person overnight. Fitchburg Fire and the police department responded to the Valley View apartments on Fish Hatchery Road. This is near City on a Hill Church just before 7 last night. First responders pulled an adult from one of the apartments and rushed them to the hospital, but they did not survive. No other injuries were reported. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. As more locals push back on proposed data centers, Dane County has a new committee to keep you in the loop. It's in response to companies like QTS trying to build data center into Forest. People there have complained they don't have enough information about the project and its effects. Officials say their goal is clarity.
A lot of this process is pitting the town against the village. And what we really need to have is something at the county level where everybody can come together, everybody can be welcome at these meetings, and there can be transparency.
We're concerned about invaluable farmland being taken by these hyperscale data centers that can't be replaced.
Janesville is also in the early stages of a potential data center. People there are also raising similar concerns. Schools across the state are losing students, and that means they're also losing funds. Last year, 800,000 students were enrolled in public schools across Wisconsin. The state says that is the lowest count in decades. The reasons? A rising interest and availability of school choice options and a declining birth rate.
We peaked in the number of births in the state of Wisconsin in 2007. So if you think about it, those children are now 18. They're aging out of the school system.
In comparison to the 800,000 public school students enrolled last year, there were 125,000 in private schools. There are also almost 25,000 students enrolled in the state's parental choice program, which was launched in 2013. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is asking for $1 billion in federal funds. The money would go towards improving health care in rural areas. Breaking down their request, the DHS wants $337 million to recruit and retain rural workers, $329 million to upgrade tech for health care providers, and $279 million to create a coordinated health care system. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services will decide if the DHS's plans will get funded by December 31st. Frustrations and concerns are growing at major airports across the country as flight cuts are now in effect amid the government shutdown. The FAA ordered the flight reductions at 40 high-volume travel hubs, 4% today, ramping up to 10% next week. The cuts are in response to staffing shortages among air traffic controllers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells CBS News he made the decision after consulting with the FAA safety team.
We saw controllers working 6 days a week. 10-hour days. That pressure on the controllers were giving us numbers that were not troubling, but were concerning. And so my job is to be preemptive.
The Air Traffic Controllers Union says the nation didn't have enough controllers before the shutdown. Now many controllers are calling out sick, some even quitting after having gone weeks without pay and receiving a second $0 pay stub Thursday. On Capitol Hill, Senate Republicans are planning a different approach to resolve the political stalemate. Sources tell CBS News the GOP strategy involves voting on the House funding bill with a goal of amending it in an effort to sway moderate Democrats and end the impasse. Good news for those who use food share benefits today. Governor Evers says his administration will immediately issue November payments for all members. This comes hours after a federal court ordered the Trump administration to use billions of dollars in available funding to provide food assistance payments. The Trump administration says it will appeal this order. Nominations are out for the 2026 Grammy Awards. There are 95 categories from Album of the Year to Best New Artist. Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Kendrick Lamar, and Lady Gaga all picked up nominations. One big change, Best Country Album was split into two, Best Traditional and Best Contemporary. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter won it last year. Eligible music was released between August of 2024 to August of this year. Because of that, Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl is not in contention for a Grammy. Last year's Best New Artist winner, Chappell Roan, offered some advice while introducing this year's nominees.
My advice to the Best New Artist would be do what feels right. Good art always rises. Don't worry about the momentum. Do what feels good and right.
The 2026 Grammys will be held on February 1st in Los Angeles, and you can watch the show right here live on CBS, also streaming on Paramount+. Coming up next on News 3 Now noon, how the chicken sandwich wars could heat up again this weekend. Plus, what two products are being recalled by the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Tesla shareholders voted to give CEO Elon Musk a $1 trillion pay package over the next decade. It's one of the richest compensation packages in history, and it's going to the world's richest person with an estimated net worth of more than $400 billion, according to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index. But the big payout is contingent on the company hitting certain targets. Two massive recalls from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. More than 830,000 Peloton Original Series Bike Pluses have been recalled because the seat post can break and cause riders to fall off. There have been at least 3 reports of the seat detaching during use, with at least 2 reports of injuries due to falls. Owners should stop using the bikes and contact Peloton for a free repair. Also, more than 940,000 bottles of Kirkland brand Valdobiadne Prosecco DOCG wines have been recalled because the bottles can shatter. Customers are urged to contact the maker, Ethica Wine, for guidance and getting a refund from Costco. And the chicken sandwich wars could heat up again Sunday. Several major chains, including McDonald's, Popeyes, and KFC, are dishing out free or discounted sandwiches through their apps to mark National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Carissa Lawson.
Here's your stock report this Friday afternoon at the noon hour. The Dow is down 266 points, NASDAQ down 366, and the S&P 500 down at this hour 77. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam has today's farm numbers up next, and Blaze is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, the bell ringers are making their way back to area stores, who they are and why they ring. Well, welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Bianchi for the Midwest Farm Report on a Friday. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Sucking up every last ounce of the beautiful sunshine that's out there right now as I pay attention to Blaze's forecast. Talk a little bit about a story that News 3 has been following, and that is the development of these data centers all around the state of Wisconsin. Right now, we've got somewhere between 47 data centers that are already in Wisconsin or under development. The conversation I want to focus on is not necessarily about those folks that are right around the data center, but instead those that might be in the pathway of the high power lines that are going to have to be strung between the data center and the grid, so to speak. Michael Greif is a fellow with the Midwest Environmental Advocates, and he says that's where he really encourages people stay engaged in the conversation, because whether you see that data center or not, it could impact your land.
So the transmission companies that build these power lines have the power of eminent domain, and that can come into play when you're in an area surrounding one of these data centers. They're trying to connect the current grid to the site of the data center. That involves high voltage power lines, and those power lines have the power of eminent domain to get to where they need to be. So that's something that's coming up in communities around the state right now, in the Port Washington area particularly, where some folks are concerned about that.
Yeah, and that's the issue. I just want to make sure that people stay involved, talk to your neighbors, what's going on as far as what they're hearing with land development when it comes to these data centers coming into Wisconsin. Well, it's coming back to Wisconsin. I believe 57 years strong now that Wisconsin's hosted the World Championship Cheese Contest. Entries are now being accepted. They expect that by the time they close the entries, they'll have more than 3,300 from around the world. That will take approximately 50 international judges at least 2 days to try to evaluate. The classes just keep expanding, from cheese, butter, cultured products, and dry dairy ingredients. So much more coming up at the Monona Terrace Convention Center, March of next year. So kind of keep that in mind. If you're looking forward to something in 2026, that's a good one. And they generally have an opportunity for the general public to be involved in that. So the markets today in Chicago, the only one I'm really noticing is the wheat market. Although we may have ideas that China's interested in wheat, apparently they're not engaging, because we've gone down substantially on the midday as far as our wheat prices are concerned. Dairy is still holding very quiet on a Friday. Next week, we're starting to see USDA reports trickle back into the marketplace. That will include the World Ag Supply Demand Report next week, and also a milk production update. We expect those milk production numbers to go up. Barrel and block cheese unchanged today. The 40-pound block cheese stands at $1.66. The AA butter up just a quarter of a cent at $1.47.5 per pound to wrap up the week. Headed into, like I said, Josh, what looks to be kind of a mixed bag of tricks weather-wise for this first full weekend in November.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for the snowflakes, Pam. Are you?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. And I'll be at that Monday night game, and I'm really not sure I'm going to be ready.
I know. It's too early. All right, Pam, have a good weekend. We'll get through it. And now let's get to the latest certified most accurate forecast meteorologist. Blaze Keller is tracking it all. And I don't know, Blaze, how are you feeling about this?
Well, you know what? Even if I didn't like it, I can't change it. It's probably going to happen. This low pressure system isn't moving anywhere that wouldn't impact us. If it were to dive really, really far south or really far north, then we would not be impacted by this system in any way. But we haven't seen that trend in the days leading up to right now, and we're about 48 hours or less out. So we have the clearest picture so far, and that is that we're going to likely be dealing with that rain-snow mix this weekend, and then we'll be drying out as we go into next week. An isolated shower could be possible later this afternoon, with more cloud cover expected as well. Looking ahead to Saturday, there's that weather system moving on in, that rain-snow mix turning over to snow as we go overnight into Sunday. Sunday we'll be dealing with flurries on and off, and then by Monday, our next high pressure system moves on in. That's going to help clear out the cloud cover, keep us on the cooler side for Monday, but then by Veterans Day, we're starting to warm back up into the 40s. So let's take it in closer to home. There is that system moving on in Saturday afternoon, 12 o'clock exactly, beginning to see that rain-snow mix out towards the Mississippi River. As we go forward into the rest of Saturday afternoon, that rain-snow mix will turn over to snow. When? That is the million-dollar question, because when that happens, then we start accumulating the snow. If it happens later in the day on Saturday, our snow accumulations are going to be less. If it happens earlier in the day on Sunday, we have a better chance for, say, the higher-end totals that we are forecasting. Overnight, Saturday into Sunday, we're likely going to be dealing with that light on and off snow activity. And then Sunday, especially further to the north and east, we sit underneath mostly cloudy conditions with that chance for snow, flurries, and maybe a light snow shower. I updated this before the noon show today. I moved down the 1 to 2 inch kind of threshold, this teal blue, further to the south. But we're still looking at mainly the state line communities, Grant, Lafayette, Greene, Rock, Walworth counties, to get that in that range of 1 to 2 inches. Further to the north, in this lighter blue, that would include Dayton County, Sauk, Richland, Juneau Adams, Columbia, Dodge, as well as Jefferson counties. This is where we probably have a better chance to get up to an inch of snow or less. The ground is still going to be rather warm. Again, we're going to wait to see when that rain-snow mix completely turns over to snow. So a lot of this snow is going to initially melt, especially because, again, our ground is just not cold enough to keep that snow around. In addition to the flurries and the breezy conditions on Sunday, there's going to be a wind chill. It is going to feel rather chilly out there as we head even into the late morning hours, feeling like the teens to the low 20s. So if you're going to be cheering anybody on for the Madison Marathon, please dress warmly, a few flurries in the morning, and then maybe by the time we go into the noon hour, breezy and chilly, as it says here, dress for the cold weather. Those winds will be out of the northwest, gusting anywhere between, say, 20 to 30 miles per hour. There was a look at the 10-day forecast. All this mess wraps up by later Sunday. Again, cooler for Monday, but for Veterans Day, while there is a chance for an isolated shower, we're at least going to be warmer in the 40s, and I really wouldn't cancel any outdoor, maybe not festivities, but remembrance type events for Veterans Day at this point, but we'll be in the 40s from Veterans Day through that following weekend.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Up next, we're getting you ready for football in Madison this weekend with the help of the Wisconsin Beef Council. Angie Horkin has a new tailgating recipe for you straight ahead. We're getting you ready for game day in Madison with the Wisconsin Beef Council. Angie Horkin stopped by News 3 Now this morning with her tailgating recipe of the week.
Talk about a game day grilling recipe. We're mixing it up a little bit today. Something you could do in a crock pot or in a pot like you've got. What are we making?
So it's called our Big Game Frito Pie. So it's kind of a nice, simple chili recipe. I kind of call it a chili recipe. It seems very chili-ish. And make that ahead because it takes about an hour. And then serve it over Fritos. So it's like a walking taco, which are great too. So it's kind of portable, but it's a chili over Fritos. So I started with 2 pounds of lean ground beef. I browned that up just in my stock pot, and I got about 1 medium onion diced. Then we're going to add in a can of Rotel tomatoes with the diced green chilies.
Those come in so handy. Always good to have one in the cupboard, right?
That heat, you know, they're kind of, they add a lot of flavor.
We like the heat this time of the year.
Well, that's true. This is good. Yeah, we're going to add a lot of heat to this. 1 small can of tomato sauce, and then some one can of beer. So your favorite beer, whatever you got.
Beer? This must be a secret ingredient.
Yes. And then cumin, garlic, chili powder, and a little cayenne if you like to make it a little bit warmer to warm us up.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. So very simple recipe, but kind of stir it up, bring it to a boil, turn it down, and then cover, simmer an hour. There's the finished. How's that look?
Yeah. I mean, that looks great. It's just missing the cheese and some sour cream and some Fritos.
Yeah. Fritos. You guys want to grab a bag of Fritos?
Yeah, let's serve it up here.
I got a couple
I can
little
smell
bags.
the beer.
Can you?
Oh, yeah. I smell that coming through.
Nothing more Wisconsin than this right here.
You could add whatever your favorite beer is. I just use the light beer when I have it in my basement refrigerator.
All right, good.
And but a darker beer would give it a little bit deeper flavor.
I'm do it walking taco style. I like that idea, Angie.
I only have 3 little bags of Fritos, but otherwise, otherwise do it in a bowl. Just take a big bag of Fritos. You don't have to splurge on the little ones, but yeah, super simple. Make the chili head, make it portable.
Yeah, and then people can customize it how they want to. If they like the sour cream, if they want little cheese, a lot of cheese, or different types of toppings.
Jalapenos.
Dice it up with some cilantro and onion.
Cilantro would be good.
That would be amazing.
Okay.
There you go. I love Fritos, by the way.
And we do have a walking taco recipe, too. I put on the tailgating page, but you really don't need a recipe for walking tacos. Make your great taco meat, then your Doritos, crunch them up, throw your meat in. But
I'm so happy
two kind
right now.
of fun ideas, thinking outside the box.
No, I love that.
stuff
You
like this for
always
tailgating.
bring really interesting recipes
try
to the
to.
table. And every time that Andy's been on this fall, we have all of those recipes in a nice, easy section to find at beeftips.com.
Beeftips.com, you'll see it right on the homepage. Click on the tailgating recipes. You'll find all the ones we've done and a couple more we haven't done yet.
All right.
At least we know the food's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Not so sure about the football, although the Badgers could sure use a win.
Go, Bucky! Forecast not looking so good for our Saturday. Here's Blaze with the final check.
I mean, it depends on who you ask, Josh. Some folks have been itching for this snow. Not me. But some folks have been wanting this snow, and our latest prediction still keeping with that less than an inch for a lot of folks. And then further to the south, you have that better chance for maybe an inch to 2 inches. Alex will have a full update with some new data this afternoon. Jacob, of course, in on Saturday morning, will have an even clearer picture. So stay with News 3 Now. We will keep you updated. A cold Sunday for those marathon runners, too.
All right, Blaze. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We're back at 4 and always on at channel3000.com.